Hey everyone, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to tackle something that's, well, it's really tough, but it's also incredibly important. We're talking about the hidden pressures that are driving teen substance misuse. We're going to look at why teens are so vulnerable, the very real dangers they're facing right now, and maybe, just maybe, we can find a better way to help them. Okay, let's just start right here. Look at this number. 2/3. That's staggering. And you have to understand, to really get to the heart of this problem, we first have to understand the pain that can fuel it. We're talking about 2 out of every 3 kids. This isn't just a number on a screen, you know? It's a massive challenge that can completely change the course of a young person's life and how vulnerable they are. All right, so that brings us to our first big topic, the teen brain under pressure. And really, the question is, why are adolescents so uniquely vulnerable? You might think it's all about making bad choices, but it's so much deeper than that. Honestly, it's about biology. The teenage brain is literally a construction site, and that developmental process makes them naturally more likely to take risks and listen to what their friends are saying. So let's break that down. What we mean by adolescent vulnerability is that it's just a natural part of growing up. Think about it like this. The part of their brain that's hitting the gas pedal, the part that seeks thrills and wants to fit in, is fully developed. But the part that hits the brakes, the impulse control, the decision-making, that's still catching up. It's a totally normal phase, but the problem is it's happening right in the middle of a perfect storm of new influences. Okay, let's talk about that storm, a storm of influences. We're going to look at the modern pressures that are really driving this. And it all starts with a social world that, thanks to technology, looks nothing like the one we grew up in. You know, when we think about peer pressure, we usually picture the direct stuff, right? Someone saying, hey, just try it. And that definitely happens. But what's really interesting and what this shows is that there are 2 sides to this coin. The indirect pressure, that's the powerful one. It's that quiet, nagging feeling that you have to fit in, or the idea that everyone is doing it. It's the fear of being the one left out, and that can be way more influential than any dare. And this is where it gets really sneaky. We're talking about vaping and social media, and it is totally under the radar. This is the new playbook for sure. You've got influencers pushing these products, but it just looks like another post. You've got flavors like bubblegum. I mean, come on, who are they targeting with that? Then you have these devices that look like pens or USB drives, and even videos teaching kids how to hide it all. Marketers are completely bypassing the old rules and going straight to teens on their phones, making something really dangerous, look cool, and totally harmless. And this quote, wow, it just brings everything full circle, right back to that first number we saw. It says that for someone who's gone through trauma, opioids can numb not just physical pain, but psychological pain. So you have to realize, for a teen who is hurting this badly, it's not about getting high or having fun. It's a desperate attempt to just feel nothing for a little while, to escape a pain that feels like it's going to swallow them whole. It's a coping mechanism, a really, really destructive one. Okay, so now we have to talk about the real life consequences. We're going from experimentation all the way to overdose. This is the part that's really hard to talk about, but we have to. Because the reality of what happens when all these pressures collide, it's absolutely heartbreaking. And honestly, the stakes have never, ever been higher. So let's look at the numbers for 12th graders. What are they actually using? Well, alcohol is still at the top, no huge surprise there. But look at what's right behind it. Cannabis and nicotine, specifically from vaping. And that sharp rise in vaping is what's really concerning experts. I mean, both nicotine and THC are being vaped, and these things are often sold as if they're no big deal. But we know they're super addictive and can cause some serious long-term health problems. And then there's this, fentanyl. This is the hidden danger that is an absolute game changer. It's being mixed into counterfeit pills, into other drugs, and it means that even a first-time user, someone just experimenting, is at risk of overdose. This is a terrifying new reality. Think about this. Overdose is now the 3rd leading cause of death for teenagers in the US, often from something they had no idea they were even taking. One pill, one mistake, and it can be fatal. Okay, so if you're a parent, a teacher, anyone who cares about a teen, what do you look for? These are some of the big signs. Sudden changes in their mood, their friends, how they're doing in school. Maybe they're becoming super secretive or withdrawn, or they just lose interest in things they used to love. I know, seeing this stuff can be really scary, but it's so important to remember this isn't about accusing them. It's about paying attention. It's about opening the door for a conversation, and it's the absolute first step to getting them help. All right, let's shift gears a little bit. Let's talk about a different kind of help. It's time to rethink what recovery even looks like. Because when a teen is struggling, the whole idea of treatment can feel overwhelming. right? For everyone. The old way of doing things, sending a kid away to rehab for a month, it can feel like a punishment, and it just rips them out of their life. But what if there's a better way? A more compassionate way? I mean, just think about it. What if getting help didn't mean you had to drop your entire life? What if you didn't have to leave school, your friends, your family, all the people who actually support you? What if you could learn how to handle life's challenges in real time, right where you live? And that's exactly what this new approach is all about. You can see the difference right here. The old way, inpatient rehab, pulls you out of your life. It's disruptive, there's a lot of stigma, and then you have to try and apply what you learned back in the real world. It's tough. But this modern outpatient model, it's the complete opposite. You get treatment right from home. It's integrated into your life, so you learn to build those coping skills in the actual world, facing your actual triggers. So this isn't just a theory. There are organizations out there pioneering this exact approach. And that brings us to RecoveryCNT. They've built a whole system around this idea of accessible, effective, and empowering treatment, helping teens get better right inside their own communities. So, how does it actually work? Well, their process is pretty straightforward. First, you get help from home. Simple as that. High-quality care without turning your life upside down. Second, you learn skills in real time. You're working with therapists to deal with challenges as they actually happen. And third, you build a lasting recovery. You're learning relapse prevention techniques in your real environment. It's all about empowering teens with the tools they need to handle their real lives, not just surviving in some bubble. And why does this work so well? Well, for one, it treats addiction for what it is, a chronic disease, not some kind of moral failure. That right there is huge. It reduces the stigma because it makes getting help feel like any other kind of healthcare. The care is super customized in small groups, and this is really important. It's affordable and works with most major health insurance. It just makes so much sense. It's a more effective and honestly a more humane way to help people. So, let's talk about taking that first step, because help really is closer than you think. And I need to say this directly. If you're a teen out there listening and you're struggling, or if you're worried about someone you love, please know that reaching out for help is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of incredible strength. You are not alone in this, and there are people who are here to listen. I get it. Making that first call, having that first conversation, it can feel like the hardest thing in the world, but it's also the most important. And at a place like RecoveryCNT, that first call is always confidential, it's always compassionate, and I promise you, there is absolutely zero judgment. Here's the number. You can call 1-732-484-9661. A recovery guide is right there on the other end of the line, just waiting to talk and waiting to help. Or you can check out their website, RecoveryCNT.com. Look, taking that first step can feel scary, I know, but it's also the very first step toward a much, much brighter future. Just remember, you're not alone in this, and help is out there. Thanks so much for listening.